So this is a video about the Bosch Avantixx 8 tumble dryer. We were having an issue where the container light was constantly coming on. The container was empty. There's the container there, we'd emptied it, but the container light kept coming on, stopping the dryer, and it was really annoying. Looking at videos online, suggestions of cleaning out the heating element, which we've done, and something like a pre-filter or whatever. Again, did that, came to no avail, so I've opened up the side of it here, just a few screws along the back and the top, and I've had to bend it slightly. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it, but to be honest I was getting fed up of it. And I've found the actual pump that seems to deal with pumping the water that collects from the heating element up into the container at the top here. And I've always wondered how it knows that the container's full, because if you look at the container, there's no electronic parts. There's no electronic parts in the actual bay where the container's held. And I've seen it's this here, that there's a float switch here. And what I've found, this bit here that contains the actual pump that pumps the water up into it, there was just a little screw sort of holding it in place here. When I lifted this up, the whole of the bottom of that bay there was just absolutely loaded with gunk, with sludgy gunk. It's all in this tissue here. So I'm hoping that was the problem. I'm imagining it was fouling on this float switch, which meant the float switch was constantly up, and therefore sort of throwing up error message of the container being full, because this area here was filled with water. It's got quite a clever system really. The pipe here from the pump pumps the water up into the container, and then once the container's full it overflows, and then there's a little hole there, look, where the overflowing water then drains back down this pipe here, down into this bay at the bottom here. And you can imagine as this bay at the bottom here fills up, this float switch activates and it turns the washer dryer off and gives a message to put the container light on. So fingers crossed. I'll let you know anyway if it works. But I've cleaned all the gunk out of the bottom there. So I'm going to put this back in now, just make sure there's no more gunk around the place, and get the tumble dryer going, and hopefully it'll last longer than 5 minutes, and if it does we'll know it's worked. So fingers crossed. So I've put the sort of pump unit back in place here now. It's just that screw there that held it in place. What you saw before was just me I pulled this out, so it was the upside down of it. Doing a video. And I'm just going to place this back on here, sort of a cover protection, and then we'll get everything screwed in. Fingers crossed it should work. So just to show the screws removed, it was just a line of screws along here, and then that one and the one the far end to pull the top off to access one or two screws that were just in the top of this panel here. There's also one or two at the bottom underneath the machine, and that allowed me just to pull this panel round. I couldn't get to the screws at the front of it, but I just bent it round, to be honest with you, because as I say, I'd had a bit of enough of it really. So fingers crossed it should now work. These are the items we should have kept clean in the first place, which probably would have stopped the problem that we had from occurring. So you just pull this out and clean in between it all the way around it, and that would probably stop the gunk that I showed you in the previous bit from collecting in that pool at the bottom. But lesson learned, we'll keep this and this nicely clean in future, and fingers crossed I won't have to bother going through that palaver again. Very pleased to report the tumble dryer is now fixed, so that was definitely the problem. So just to reiterate, keep the heat plate thing behind this nice and clean, but if you haven't been cleaning it regularly as we've done, follow the instructions as detailed before to get all the gunk out the bottom of that little reservoir and allow the pump to do its job. Hope this helps someone. Thanks, bye bye.